Hey Andy,
Hey,
welcome to Barcelona.
no,
Not your first time here.
not first time. First time in a long time.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah,
Tell me a little bit about yourself, who you are,
yeah,
and why you're here.
sure. Uh, Andy, I am your co-founder. You may notice me. Um, Co-founder HighCohesion and Commerce Thinking. Spent the last 15 years as a programmer in e-commerce, and really got into the integration and automation space about 14 years ago now. So a long time playing with data and you know hopefully automating things to make things a little more streamlined.
Yeah, nice. And we're here today just to have a short conversation around hot topic of the moment,
Yeah,
hot topic of shop talk this week, which is AI.
yeah,
Rather than kind of talk about what do you think of AI and so on, I wanted to get kind of specific around what it means in the integration space
yeah,
and what your thoughts are in it there. But maybe firstly, commerce thinking is kind of your day-to-day role.
yeah,
How are you using AI at commerce thinking? Where is it already having an impact for you?
yeah. I think it's had a massive impact over the last 6 months. It's changed a lot in the last 6 weeks, really. But we're using it a lot day to day. Again, for different workflows. Trying to use different tools as a second brain, right? So, I mean, I've never had the best memory or process flow all of the time, but I
Yeah.
think having tools there that record transcripts or convert transcripts into notes and tasks and task lists, I think it's become an essential part of our as a team. We're only a small team, but it's become an essential part of our day-to-day operations that we use these AI tools to uh, you know make it easier and better overall day to day.
Yeah, and specific impact that that's had. Is that time? Is it quality? Is it depth? What
Yeah,
specific impacts that
I think all of the above. I think quality in terms of that memory element, being able to recall with absolute accuracy what was found out in certain discovery sessions. I think is critical. I think that's really helping the team, and it just improves accuracy of projects that we deliver.
Yeah. And what impact do you think your customers are having? And have they called anything out where they've said, "Oh wow, yeah, surprised you guys remembered that," or
No, no, nothing springs to mind. Obviously, with the client side, because we work with a lot of clients month to month, I think it's interesting to see how clients approach AI in their business versus how we approach AI in our business. And a lot of the time, like I have chats with different leaders in different businesses, and that you get to compare and contrast their approach to what they're doing
yeah.
typically in retail.
And is it very different brand to brand,
Um,
or are you seeing similarities and trends?
Similar, I would say similarities. I mean, there's a lot of Claude usage, a lot of this second brain concept,
Yeah,
a lot of work around that, and just using AI to take care of manual, repetitive tasks. It's not effectively majorly skilled work or thought-provoking work. It's repetitive work that
yeah,
kind of AI is very good at.
yeah. And I guess it frees brands up,
Yeah,
people up to go and do that skilled, thought
abs-
heavy work, right? Instead.
absolutely. Again, it's time back for skilled people within businesses to focus on
Yeah,
more meaningful things.
yeah. And going to ask a question that's maybe a bit of a guess, but obviously e-commerce thinking is behind the operator experience,
Yeah.
business and movement, I guess, that is
Yeah.
really focusing on how brands
Yeah.
effectively and safely use AI. If I gave you a number 1 to 10, where 1 is, chatting back and forth in an LLM, and 10 is AI agents are autonomously working in the background of a brand, where would you say brands are on average 1 to 10?
Yeah, I would say between 1 and 3.
Okay.
But from what I've seen at the minute, there's a lot of things that are being attempted, and there's a lot of bright ideas out there. There's a lot of shiny demos out there on the internet. But actual usage in brands, I would say it's still in its infancy and changing rapidly. But there's a lot of FOMO out there as well. I think there's a lot of people fear that their competitors are doing something cool, so they're quickly trying to establish their own strategy or usage of a tool. And I think that is, for me, that's the cool thing about events like Operator Experience, bringing brands together into a room where they can get hands-on and chat to everyone about what they're doing in different brands. I think it's cool to bring people together and have that experience.
Yeah, and people actually realise that the FOMO is very much a fear rather than a real thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about AI and integrations. That's obviously your background and what you're really an expert in.
Yeah.
So where do you think AI is going to have the biggest impact in the near future on integrations in retail?
Integrations are typically boring. I don't know if I should say that.
Yeah, I said we were in an event yesterday. I said it's the unsexy side of e-commerce.
It is unsexy and pretty repetitive, and you're effectively matching data between different systems in order to automate things, which, it should lend itself very well to platforms building the ability for an LLM or something to automate chunks of the data mapping process. Or I think where it will really come into its own is error handling, issue detection, alerting, and maybe even smart healing of issues. Tasks that are pretty simple at the moment, but require someone to look into them. I think issues like that could be automatically healed in the future.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. And obviously you're very close to what we're doing at HighCohesion and our roadmap. If you could wave a magic wand and bring in an AI feature next week in HighCohesion, what would that one be?
Yeah, I've seen some of the features on the roadmap that look very exciting. I think the MCP, which I know is first on the release list, but I think that's the one I'm most excited about, mainly because I chat to a few brands that will be the first users of it, and they're keen to use it because they want to build it into their internal flows and development teams for usage. So I think the MCP will be a nice step forward.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, really excited for that one coming next quarter. Watch this space.
Yeah, definitely.
Juan, that's one for you. Help you to it now. It's on camera. And what do you think the biggest challenge for us at HighCohesion is in really embedding AI further and further into the product and the business?
I think at the moment it's still the speed of change. Things are moving very quickly, and things that are new and shiny today might in 3 weeks, 3 months time may have been superseded by something else. I see it as moving that fast that
Is there a way? Go on, sorry.
I because it's moving so fast, I think, and that goes back to the MCP, right, which is focusing on core fundamentals in order to build solid fundamentals, which then will lead to ultimately a faster reaction time to changes in or further advances in the tech.
Yeah, definitely. And we've thought a lot about, do we go sort of MCP route first, or do we go AI chat or AI bot in the control panel, in the browser that most brands are using HighCohesion through today. The reason we've gone MCP, I think, for MCP specifically, is that, as you said, it will allow brands to bring HighCohesion into their own workflows, help make it interact with tools that, obviously, in a way that a chat agent can't.
Yeah.
But also, it's, I think, easier to put guardrails around an MCP versus a chat.
Yeah.
So, some of the ways that brands, one of the things brands will definitely need to be careful with an MCP of any description, whether it's HighCohesion or otherwise, is obviously hallucinations and that kind of critical operational data that we're responsible for moving. I think we have greater control over the MCP, and then maybe something like chat can come later. You talked there about fast-moving, AI being a fast-moving landscape and things changing almost weekly.
Yeah.
What do you think HighCohesion, but just businesses more widely, can do to help mitigate against that? Like, what are there ways of future-proofing technology or processes that you think would help?
Yeah, I think that's very similar to what I was saying before about being strong on the fundamentals, not getting attached to the shiny new thing of the week.
Yeah.
From what I've seen, HighCohesion has a great feedback loop with customers, right? So, you already see it. So, using that feedback loop and testing with customers, talking to the brands and figuring out what is going to be useful for them. I think a few years ago there were some features that I would have loved to have built in the system, and they would have been great for me as a developer. But you mentioned at the time that they would hardly be used by any customers. So, you won on that one, and that's it, right? The feedback loop with the customers, core fundamentals, and then just them leading to solid features that people will actually use.
Yeah, totally. And tell me a little bit more, what do you see as core fundamentals? Can you give me an example of one or two?
Policies, excellent, or well-written prompts, and like you said, guardrails as well.
Yeah. It's a way of packaging, isn't it? So if you give a brand an MCP that's maybe using an MCP for the first time, is there a skill that goes alongside it to make sure they're onboarding and using it in the right way, those sort of things?
I think great training documents around that as well. Yeah. Letting some people loose with the keys to the castle could lead to
do you have read? Do you have read write?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you prompt on every action? Do you allow all actions to happen? That kind of stuff, definitely.
Yeah, so I think the old saying, with great power comes great responsibility. So
is there a AI product you've used recently that you've been blown away by? Is there something that you've got hands on and you just said, "Well, this is kind of a new frontier for me now"?
This wasn't really for a work project. This was more messing around at home. But I had an old MacBook that I wiped down and fresh install, just put OpenClaw on it as a always-on agent, and just adding some skills to that. I interact with it over an app called Telegram. And it's super basic at the minute, but I can get it to interact with our Jira. It can create tasks. It can comment on tasks, and I can chat to it, and it basically can manage my Jira at the moment.
Okay.
But it's super basic at the minute. But that.
Do you see that having legs in commerce thinking?
I can see it having legs for me because it helps me do. Boring, repetitive tasks that I don't like doing. So I think there's an angle there. Will the rest of the team use it? Potentially.
And obviously you're a developer.
Yeah.
Having gone through that setup process, do you need to be a developer to do that?
It wasn't super simple. It wasn't complicated, but it's not.
So technically minded, but not developer.
Yeah, technically minded. Yeah, you could do it. There's it involves the command prompt and installing packages and things like that. So it's not a installer app and no code kind of tool, but very cool. I think apart from that, like Claude Cowork.
There's a new one every week.
Exactly.
Every day, actually.
Yeah. And I think it's about that's the point earlier about flavor of the week or flavor of the month, and I think it's about actually using like I've played around with some tools, but how many do I use day in, day out? Like I've got a solid set of Claude Code, and Granola, and like those three tools have been they're my daily tools, which are very I say cool. But
and I think there's something to be said for keeping that tight, right?
Yeah.
From a cost perspective, if you're adding the AI add-on or additional tokens in every single tool we use in the businesses, your monthly cost of software subscriptions is going to go through the roof.
Definitely.
But I think you also then almost spend more time than you were in the first place interacting with the AI chat and this tool and this tool and this tool, and then working out how to sort of get them to connect and talk to each other anyway. Definitely. So there is definitely a bit of there's keeping that in mind, that actually is the end goal of whether it's efficiency, quality or cost, is actually being realized in what can seem like kind of fancy or shiny objects.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think that's it for today, Andy.
Yeah.
We'll head back out into hot Barcelona, and looking forward to spending the rest of the week with you. But thanks for coming in.
No, thanks for having me in Barcelona again. I can't wait to come back after this.
Anytime.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.
Yep, no worries.